Good morning, everybody. Today is our BioWellness gathering. And today I want to talk first about our new product, the ACV gummies. And secondly, some new information and tips and techniques, etc., about the reset. And not just the reset, but the products that are used in the reset. And then have a Q&A. It's a quiet morning. It's just Betty and I, but we'll answer Betty's questions. And if anybody else jumps on, we'll answer yours as well. So Jessica did a great webinar on the ACV biotics. So I'm not going to go into detail because that is recorded. You can listen to that later. But just a few things I would add to her webinar. And if you're a customer, you may not have access to those recordings. So be sure to ask whoever introduced you to BioRains to either get those to you or put you into one of the groups so that you can have access. They're primarily for ambassadors, but you can join as a customer as well. I think, if not, there's some other groups. So anyway, check with the person that invited you. So the ACV biotics in the rapid cell technology ingredient list, it has the ALA, which is alpha lipoic acid, the biobiotic proprietary blend, which is 3 different probiotics. And again, the rapid cell technology means that those ingredients have been made to be water soluble, so they get into your cellular structure very quickly in the mouth and the esophagus, so they're not hampered by your gut. So that's the first thing I want to talk about, is why that's so important. Almost everybody on the planet right now has a compromised gut system. And unfortunately, it's because of all the pollutants in our environment. And I'll talk about just one. One is Roundup, or it's also known as glyphosate. And what happens with glyphosate? Well, let me back up. Your gut lining is like a fabric. It's a very tight weave that only allows microscopic nutrients to go through. But some things make that loosen up. And that's called leaky gut syndrome. So that makes the holes bigger, so things that aren't supposed to pass through do. And that creates a cascade that ultimately results in autoimmune conditions typically, and or other degenerative diseases. So A, it's very important to address your gut health. But B, because it probably is compromised, that's why this rapid cell technology is so important right now. So the probiotics in here will help with gut health. Now, if you're already a client of mine in my detox or wellness practice, you know that I don't recommend you take any one external probiotic product for more than 3 months at a time. So my recommendation is to cycle on and off of this, either once a month for every do it for 1 month and then again every quarter, or do it for 3 months in a row, either biannually or annually. Otherwise, you build up too many of these 3 probiotics at the expense of the other thousands of probiotics in your system. You don't want to overcorrect too much. Now, when you do fast, that's when it's very important to build back up your microbiome, and this is one way to do that. I do recommend you also introduce a variety of as many cultured and fermented foods as possible, like real sauerkraut. If your sauerkraut isn't in the refrigerator in the grocery store, it's not real. And if it is in the refrigerator and has vinegar on the ingredients, it's not sauerkraut. It's just pickled, not even pickled, it's marinated cabbage. So look for, pickles, sauerkraut, any cultured vegetables that are in the refrigerator without vinegar added. Now, it may have vinegar and still be cultured, but it's questionable. So that's just a quick test. Everything from yogurt to kombucha, kefir, fermented soy, all of those I recommend taking, but don't take any of them in too much quantity or for too long. Rotate them. Have a, don't have a cup of yogurt every day. Have a quarter of a cup of yogurt once or twice a week. And the next day have something different. Don't drink a bottle of kombucha every day. Have a few ounces of kombucha every morning for a week, and then don't drink kombucha for a while, or have a bottle once a week. So it's all about variety. It's not about quantity. In fact, quantity can be detrimental. Then I want to talk about alpha lipoic acid. Again, on Jessica's video, there's lots of good information. A couple things I want to add. Alpha lipoic acid is fabulous for nerve regeneration. So if you have or know anybody with, oh gosh, what's it called? Neuropathy. This is one thing. Alpha lipoic acid is one thing that's recommended for that. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying it's a cure for neuropathy. I'm just saying it'll support your body if that's a challenge for you. In fact, apply that to everything I say on my Zoom. Additionally, it's best to take alpha lipoic acid on an empty stomach, and it's best to take it later in the day. So I take it before dinner and then wait about 10 to 15 minutes before I eat. Also, gelatin is in this product, and as an aside, that helps with gut health as well. I think it's gelatin. I have to cheat. Sorry, let me just make sure I'm not lying to you. Maybe that's the other gummies. I just thought of that after I said it. Yeah, this actually has tapioca instead, which I will say I don't like these gummies as far as texture and flavor as much as the Vital IQ gummies, which are my favorite treat of the day. These are more like one of those jelly candies. It's not bad. I'm just saying, if you're taking the Vital IQ gummies that are so delicious, don't expect these to be the same, but hey, it's better than the alternative of not getting, some gut health. All right, back to the alpha lipoic acid. Sorry, I digressed a little bit, or maybe that was it. Yeah, you want to take it on an empty stomach, and you want to take it later in the day. Now, the reason I take it before a meal is because I take things after dinner that I need to wait 2 hours, so I don't want to disrupt that. And I take my keto after, so I don't want to eat anything after that as well, or have sugar. There's a little bit of sugar in here. That's not enough to make a huge difference, especially if you're using the keto. So that's it on that. Betty, do you have any questions about that?
No, I don't.
Okay, great. All right. So I wanted to just, always add new things that I'm learning or that I haven't shared yet about ketosis. I am having a webinar Thursday night that I'm going to introduce a lot of new information. It's a great webinar for you to invite people that either want to lose weight, that are concerned about metabolic syndrome, or any sugar balancing issues, which are, myriad. In fact, let me just talk about that for a little bit. I would say that inflammation, hydration, blood sugar balancing are 3 of the 4 most pervasive issues. Oh, the other is memory and cognition. And balancing your blood sugar helps all of those, not just the blood sugar balancing part of it. And it's a slippery slope if you start to go down that path. You could be skinny fat. And what I mean by that is you may not have weight to lose, but if your sugar is high, that creates inflammation. That contributes to cognitive decline, even Alzheimer's and those types of things. Now, the hydration part is about the hydrate. So if you're taking the keto and hydrate, you're addressing those 3. And also excess blood sugar creates inflammation. And if you've kept up with the science for the last 20 years, inflammation is the root of all diseases, as is gut health. So they're all, it's like a big ball of a cascade. So I love these products because they work so synergistically and holistically to address all of those. Now, I got the Keto Mojo monitoring device, which if you haven't heard of that, it's a device to monitor your ketones and your blood sugar. And how well or deep you are into ketosis is a ratio of those 2 things. So when you test both together, it gives you an idea of whether you're in ketosis or not, whether you're in moderate ketosis, mild ketosis, or high ketosis. So it helps to like you can test after you have certain foods to see if you have certain foods that trigger either high blood sugar or low ketosis in your body. So it's a really great device. And as a practitioner, I reached out to them, and sure enough, I could get an account that allows me to give 15% off to my clients and customers. So if you're interested in getting one, reach out to me and I can give you the link if you don't have it already to order one. I'm happy to chat on the phone too and show you how it works. You do have to prick your finger, but it really doesn't hurt. It's a very small prick. You don't even need a drop of blood to do it. So on Thursday, the Zoom will be a half hour early. It'll be at 7:30. And that will be a full presentation on the keto and the hydrate products, more information on ketosis. For instance, you're born in ketosis, and when you're drinking only breast milk, you stay in ketosis. And I always try to utilize as much as possible ancient wisdom. And our forefathers and mothers, they rotated in and out of ketosis. And in my opinion, that's the ideal scenario. Even though I'm talking about losing weight or controlling your blood sugar, et cetera, with ketosis, A, you don't have to do it with ketosis, but it's more effective. And B, I don't recommend it as a everyday forever protocol. You cycle in and out of it. For instance, our forefathers would be in ketosis in the winter when they would, and again, this depends on where you live, but let's say they lived in Pennsylvania, they would go eat the deer and the skunks and whatever they could catch in the wintertime. And then as spring came around, they'd have some berries and they'd still be in mild ketosis. And then in the summer, they might have some apples and whatnot. So they are out of ketosis for a while, eating the higher carb foods. And then in autumn, it's back to the moderate foods like pumpkin and lots of greens. And then in winter, they cycle back in. So you can cycle in and out seasonally. You can cycle in and out monthly, weekly, or daily. I do a 5-1-1 cycle, and this is what I have found works for me. So it's just an example. You don't have to follow what I follow, but I typically intermittent fast and eat a strict ketogenic diet 5 days a week. And then I have 1 day a week of higher healthy carbs and then 1 day of fasting. And it's not even a whole day. It's like if I have dinner Sunday night, I won't eat again until dinner Monday morning. So it's really only skipping one more meal. And then every once in a while, I'll do a 2 to 4 day fast. So that really covers all the bases of, keeping yourself in diet variation. One other thing I want to talk about, because somebody messaged me the other day that they ordered the protein to have as a snack. Snacking is not a great diet idea. That's not the word I was looking for, but if you think about it, when you eat one meal and you wait 4, 5, 6, I recommend 8 hours until you have your next meal, that's giving your body time to first digest the food. You're engaging a lot of organs in the processing of food, from your stomach to your intestines to your liver to your gallbladder and ultimately your small intestines and colon. So that's a lot of energy. If you then have a snack right after that, you don't give those organs a break, especially your pancreas. That's one I left out, but very important. If it keeps having to do its job and then make the liver do its job and then make the gallbladder do its job, there's no period of rest. And again, that's why intermittent fasting is so fabulous, because if you have 16 hours that you're fasting, that really gives a good rest every day. And then the 8 hours between the 2 meals you have is another nice rest. But snacking in between any meals is not ideal. Obviously we're all going to do it occasionally. And even intermittent fasting, if you just intermittent fast 3 days a week, you get most of the benefit. And then the 4 or 5, if you go to 4 or 5, it's even better. But hey, I'm actually getting ready to take a course on what they call intuitive fasting, all about that. So I'll have more to expand on that soon. So that's really what I wanted to add today. So Betty, you're a party of one for the Q&A. So do you have any questions about that? And if not, questions about anything else, either BioRains, or we'll even go to anything else health related after that if you want. I know you're one of my good Q&Ers.
I just got back a 5-page GI gut test, and boy, is it much better than it was 6 months ago. Still a few problems, but one of the main things I did was oil of oregano twice a day. Boy, is that good. That killed a lot
Very
of.
good. Excellent. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good to hear.
And I think it's good for maintenance every day, the rest of your life.
To what?
I think it's very good to, do it on a maintenance basis, maybe several times a week or something.
I'm sorry, to do what on a maintenance basis?
Use oil of oregano.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that is good.
Good stuff.
Well, since we're talking about maintenance basis, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that for the keto and the hydrate. Many of us are using it for weight loss, although again, that's not the only thing it's good for. If you're skinny, but you may have either metabolic syndrome or be on the path to get metabolic syndrome or diabetes. And each phase is harder to reverse, right? So prevention is the best place to start. You can continue to use the keto either anytime you do have a higher carb meal, unless it's your higher carb day. Don't take it then. Let's let the body deal with it, at least, cycled in, whether it's the day, the week, the month, like I spoke of before. But or just have it every night if you are still trying to reach a goal of continued weight loss or improved metabolic health. And I didn't mention cancer when I talked about the other things. There's a great book, Cancer as a Metabolic Disease. Many experts say that cancer loves sugar and it starves without it. So that's another reason to control your blood sugar. But anyway, I kind of digress. What was I talking? Oh, using the products for maintenance. And because they are on sale to the end of the day at 20% off of the already discounted package with the hydrate and the ketone. If you don't know about that already, you might want to stock up. I've lost 15 pounds of my COVID-20. I want to lose another 5 to 10 pounds. So I'm continuing to, use it daily, twice a day. And then when I get to my ideal weight, I'll use it once a day for a while to maintain. And then, again, that's what I love about the Keto Mojo. You can test yourself and see where you are and how much you need to use it or not. And I've really been playing with that lately. And, I can see what affects me more than other things. And when I need to use the keto, if I go have brunch, like I went to brunch this weekend for a networking meeting, and it wasn't a very good brunch. The eggs actually tasted like they had sugar in them. And I am Italian, but I must have some Irish in me because I cannot resist a potato. So I had just a little bit of home fries and a little bit of fruit. And I thought, oh, my sugar is probably going to be high when I get home, but it wasn't. So that told me I can, splurge a little bit on those types of things. And as long as I've already been doing the right things, it held. And that's another point. If people say, how much weight am I going to lose if I do the reset? It really depends on what you've been doing. For instance, somebody who's already eating ketogenically and or intermittent fasting, or at least eating a healthy diet, it's going to work faster on you. So the keto isn't a magic bullet that boom, you're in ketosis. It just speeds up what would have happened without the ketosis. So if you're already on the path, you're going to get into a good, strong metabolic ketosis faster than somebody who's eating, McDonald's or whatever every day. So it's a spectrum. So just be aware of that, either for yourself or if you share this with other people. All right. Anything else, Betty?
Um,
I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I know we've had a couple of good long talks in the not too distant past, so I know you had a lot of questions answered already, but so I'll take that as a no. Well, goodness, we're only 24 minutes in. What else do you want to know? What else can we talk about?
the tinctures, the couple of them, is it okay to take the defense and the lean in the morning together?
Yeah, you can pretty much take any of their supplements other than some minor things like what I just because alpha lipoic acid is best on an empty stomach. You can combine them. You can take them whenever you want.
Okay, I won't be able to see my functional doctor for another month, but last time I saw her, she's very insistent on taking vitamin K with vitamin D3. And she even told me to take a supplement with D3, K, and A all together. Wondered if there's any plans to add vitamin K to any tinctures that have D3 in it.
That's a great point. Let me write that down. K, D, and A.
Uh-huh.
I'll ask, and I'll, I don't know off the top of my head unless I have I got my cheat sheet here. What, I know there's K in something. I know there's D in something. So I take them all. So I know I'm getting all of those, I think, but yeah, that's a good point. I will double check that and circle back on that.
Okay. There's an ingredient in the lean called Uhimbi or Yohimbine, whatever. I was Googling it yesterday. And it seems like for some people, they have a side effect. Their blood pressure goes up a little bit. And also something else, but it's not that much in it. And if you take the defense, that kind of counteracts it because it lowers the blood pressure and it's good for the heart. So
Yeah, good point.
Those two kind of work synergistically too, don't they?
That hadn't occurred to me, but that makes sense. Yes. So the Yohimbe does have some caffeine. So people that are caffeine sensitive, yeah, they need to be aware of that. It's not the same amount as a cup of green tea. It's not a whole, or wait, maybe that's there's two products that have caffeine. One is the lean and the other is limitless. So maybe it's a limitless that if you take two, it's about equivalent to a cup of green tea. The lean is about the amount of a cup of coffee, like in the lower range of coffee.
Right.
But yes, so if you are caffeine sensitive, that's a great point. I'm going to try it because I'm pretty caffeine sensitive. So I've switched, and I used to drink espresso, which has a lot less caffeine than regular coffee, but I switched to decaf espresso so I could take my limitless. I don't really take lean that often. I take it every once in a while, but I want to take it more. So let me try that and see, because I can tell if I've had too much caffeine, I'll start to get really wigged out. So I'm going to do that for the next couple of days and ask me next time if I forget to bring it up.
So I've been getting a little headache in the left side of my head about an hour after I take the lean, but that is one of the side effects, but then it goes away. But I think
Have you tried it with a defense?
Yeah, I did yesterday.
And you still get it?
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing. And I've been trying to think of how to address this with these tinctures. They're so individualized what your dose is. So I was thinking about next week teaching people to muscle test so they know how much to take. But in the absence of that, I would recommend increase your defense each time you take the lean up to 2 dropperfuls and see what you notice then, if that gets rid of that headache effect.
Okay, 1 lean and 2 droppers of the defense.
Well, maybe start with 1 lean. And if you're so right now you've been doing 1 lean and 1 defense, correct?
Yeah.
So try 1 lean and 1 defense plus 4 drops.
Gotcha.
If you still get a headache, try 1 lean, 1 defense plus 6 drops, and just keep increasing it until you get to the point where you don't have a headache.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you
thank you.
jump to 2 full dropperfuls, you may be taking more than you need, and it's, we're titrating it to find your dose.
Okay.
Alternatively, you could decrease the lean a little bit, or maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
You could maybe take half a dropper full of lean twice a day and you could try half a dropper full of each twice a day. Although then, you don't want to take the second one too late in the day, but you could do it upon arising and at about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Usually if you have caffeine before 3 or 4, it doesn't affect you at bedtime, but everybody's different too. I can't drink it past 3 or I'm up all night.
Okie dokie.
So there's lots of alternatives. And maybe we can do a little muscle testing training since we still have a half hour, actually. I do want to bring up one other thing because this is so important, I think, as a survivor myself. I do have lots of these, and I know that's going to be backwards, breast self-examination kits that are about $40. I'm not in that company anymore, but because you had to, have a monthly auto ship, I think it was 3 or 4 a month. I have a stock of them that I'm happy to offer at 20% off. And it really makes your breast exams exponentially more effective. I'm not going to go into a whole demo or anything, but reach out to me if you're interested in that. And it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you purchase by the end of the day today, not only do you get an additional 20% off, but a portion of the funds does go to, I forgot the name of the charity exactly, but it is a breast cancer organization. So that's important too. So muscle testing, such a fabulous thing to learn to do. And there's several ways to do it, but I'll show you the 2 that seem to be the easiest for the most people. And the first thing to do is to teach your body to give you answers. Hopefully this isn't too woo-woo for some of you out there, but I used to be a very big skeptic of this type of thing, but it's proven itself time and time again. So what you can do to first learn to muscle test yourself is with the standing method, but you can do it with the second method I'm going to show you as well. And let's see, I might need to adjust this just a little so you can see me. So you just stand and you bounce at the knees a little bit so you're, a little loosey-goosey, and you force yourself to tell yourself a yes. So by that, I mean, tell yourself, and by yourself, I mean your spirit, really. Show me a yes. And you may either automatically lean forward, or if you don't, make yourself go forward a little bit. So let's say you don't, and you say, show me a yes, make yourself go forward a little bit. And then say, show me a no, and either you'll go backwards or you make yourself go backwards. That's really telling your spirit, hey, this is how I want you to show me a yes, and this is how I want you to show me a no. And then do that a couple of times. And then you can test it by saying, my name is Lisa, and see if you automatically go forward. Of course, you use your name. And then say, my name is George, and see if you automatically go backwards without you forcing it. If so, you have now trained your spirit to tell you a yes and a no. Another way to do that is by making like the okay sign with one hand, or actually with both hands, I guess, and put, say your right hand's fingers inside that circle on your left hand, and say, show me a yes, and you're able to open the one that's on the outside, show me a no, and you're not able to open. So you can use either of those to ask yourself questions. So I'll just grab a tincture. And this is defense. So I know this is the travel size, so I'm going to tell my spirit, in the regular bottle, should I be taking this more than once a day? I get a no. Should I be taking one full dropper full? Yes. Should I be taking more than a dropper full? Yes. Should I be taking a dropper, more than a dropper full plus 4 drops? No. Is 1 dropper full plus 4 drops the ideal dose for me? And I get a yes. So you can do that. Would it be, if I take, oh, let me get the lean. I think I have a lean back here. Maybe not. Oh, yep, there it is. And I can, and I, when I do this for myself or clients, I use a scale of 1 to 10 to even see if a supplement is beneficial. On a scale of 1 to 10, is the lean at least a 5 for me? Is it at least an 8 for me? Is it at least a 10 for me? Is it at least a 9 for me? So it's a 9 out of a scale of 1 to 10. Is there any detriment of this to me? Is it more than a 1 on the scale of detriment? No, so it doesn't have any detriment to me. At the proper dose though, right? Because it does have caffeine that I know I'm sensitive to. Should I be taking this more than once a day? No. Should I be taking a full dropper full of this once a day? Yes. Should I be taking more than a dropper full? No. See, I bounce in between sometimes if I don't feel like I'm quite loose enough. Would it improve either the efficacy or my tolerance of this if I take it with the defense? Yes. So there you go. So for me, yes, thank you for the tip, Betty, because I would not have thought of that, or maybe not for a while anyway. Do you muscle test?
No.
Okay. Then there's my tip for the day. I muscle test everything. It's really bad too when you first learn how and you try to go grocery shopping. It may be a 4-hour grocery trip, but over time you can do it really quickly. You can do it in groups. I don't recommend, unless you're really experienced, muscle testing too many things at a time. The body starts to get a little freaked out about it, or the spirit. But as a body talk practitioner, that's what body talk is based on, is, you know, allowing your body or your spirit to tell me what your priorities are. And it's best to heal the body on a priority basis. So that's what I love about that. All right. We digress, but hopefully that's helpful to some or most of you. I'm trying to learn to look in the camera. If you wonder why, I look at my picture for a while and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to look at the camera. So that's why my eyes dart around a little bit. I'm still not an experienced video celebrity, but I'm working on it. All right, anything else, Betty?
No.
Are you in the groups where you can access that stuff I was talking about?
No, but now that I think about it, Brenda has done that on me several times, and I did not know what she was doing. Now I do.
Yeah, great. Well, since we discussed it for both your benefit and the benefit of anybody who's on here, let me close all this stuff. Let me just show you a couple of resources. And I probably misspoke when I said you can get into this if you're a customer. I think you do have to be an ambassador, but I'm going to show you so that those of you that are an ambassador, you know where to go. And if you're not, I mean, otherwise there's some groups for everybody and we'll see what's in there. So we have a group, and if you don't know, this is the icon right here for going to all of your groups. I used to think that was like a puppy dog paw, but if you click on that, then you just look at your groups, either groups that you manage or groups that you're in. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Storm, and that's the one I think you do have to be an ambassador for. But just to check, are you on Facebook, Betty?
No.
Okay. So they do have to be on Facebook to invite them, of course. So that's another reason you're not in, but let me see. I thought maybe this would say if it's ambassadors only, but it doesn't. But in this group, the Storm, that's Jessica's group. For her team, there are guides. And the guides are, in categories of things that are helpful. Again, mostly for if you're doing this as a business, but not exclusively. And the one thing I really want to make sure everybody sees is random facts. So if you don't have the random facts, ask the person that invited or that enrolled you to get it to you, or that if you're a customer, the person that you purchased through. So I want to just show that I clicked on random facts, but it didn't land on random facts. Sometimes Facebook will put you right where you ask them to, and sometimes it's just close. So then what you can do is see if where you landed is above or below what you want. So you see I had to click see more, and then I see Z-scores, which is what came up, is below. So then I scroll up to random facts. Now the number one random facts, or there's two that are very important, and that's these right here. Your derm and your derm 2, which is the AM serum and the PM serum, should be refrigerated, and the Vital IQ should be refrigerated. See, I had actually forgotten that one. I think they just added that. Now, it doesn't mean if they're not refrigerated, you need to throw them away. They're just not going to keep their effectiveness if they're not. The second is, bear with me while I find it. Well, oh, here it is. Protein, GH, and hydrate should not be taken together. Take at least 15 to 30 minutes apart. I'm not sure why that is. My guess is that, protein GH is a protein that helps your body produce more growth hormone. And probably some minerals in here are going to, impede that. So you're kind of wasting that benefit. But don't quote me on that. That's just my best first guess. But since you're not in Facebook, I'm going to copy this. And there's lots of them. I tried to give you the most important. I can see this link isn't going to work for you, but if you need the whole thing, let me know. And I'll email that to you. So that's what you would do with your customers if they can't get into this group, is always copy and paste and email them. Do as I say, not as I do. That just occurred to me like last night. So I haven't done that either, but there's lots of good information in here. Now, the ones that you can join, even if you're not an ambassador, it's not a group, it's a page, just BioWellness. That's the corporate Facebook page. There's also, where is it? Well, if you just search BioWellness, lots of them will come up. A Better Way to a Better You. Anybody can join. And there's one other. I mean, there's lots of others, but these are the ones that I think are really good. Now, I have a question for you, Betty. Why are you not on Facebook?
I am sometimes.
Okay.
My phone was out of order for the last week and a half, and
But you're a member. You have a Facebook.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get on it once in a while, but probably not as often as most people.
Yeah, I forgot what the other one is. Anyway, oh, Live Limitless. That's why it doesn't have BioWellness in the name. I really like the Live Limitless. And you do have to be invited to Live Limitless, but you don't have to be an ambassador to join it. It's got great testimonials. And I'm going to be setting up a Facebook page or group. I'm not sure which yet. Sometime soon for us to, keep adding information. So Live Limitless is really great to share the benefits of BioWellness, as is BioWellness, A Better Way to a Better You. Those are two really good places to invite your prospects or customers, or just your friend that you want to share a certain piece of information with. Like you can search them by name. So let's say I want my husband to know about something. I would search him and add him. He doesn't do Facebook much, so I'm not going to add him, but let's say I did. Then I could search something like, let's see, stress. Oops, that's creating a post. To search, you click here. I could search stress. Visual proof that our new Vital IQ and collagen is reversing oxidative stress. Well, that's not the stress I was thinking of, but boy, can I think of a lot of people that want to know that. So you can click comment and then tag anyone you want to see that. Okay. So I'm leaving out a few steps if you do want to use this as a prospecting tool. And I know I'm not on the prospecting call. Sorry, I'm digressing a little bit. So let's just say you want to share that with somebody you care about. You would just type their name in here. And if they're in the group, their name would come up. So let me put somebody's name that's in the group, like Linda. Although maybe she's, oh yeah, sure she's in this group. It should highlight her name. There we go. So then it brings up all the Glendas in the group. This is the Glenda I'm working for. So she'll now get a notification. Hey, Lisa Lothian just tagged you in a post, visual proof that our new blah, blah, blah. So it'll give the first few words in the notification. Not everybody reads their notifications. So then you might want to message them and say, hey, I just tagged you in a post about oxidative stress. I think you'd enjoy. And then they know to go look at their notifications. And I'm happy to go over that slower or in more detail with anybody who's not as, who is not familiar with tagging people, etc. This is where your notifications are. So if anybody tells you they tagged you and you should have a notification, you just click on this bell right here. See, I've had 3 notifications since the last time I looked, which I look about every hour, but that's because I manage a couple of groups and lots of people post and I get notified every time there's a post. So it's usually not, quite that many, but any questions about that, Betty?
No, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. All right, well, we're a little bit short today, but I think we covered a lot. So we'll go ahead and call it a day. And thank you for those of you listening later. And thank you so much, Betty, for showing up. And I'll see you on Thursday.
Okie dokie, bye.
Bye.